now, the conclusion.
Okay, so now that we've printed out the Gobo, we cut it out and we trimmed it to size, and we've installed it in our fixture, it's time to talk about the lessons that I've learned. This is the American DJ 10-watt Gobo projector. This is the Eternal Lighting 60-watt LED moving head called the Stellar 60. What I learned was that LEDs are not no heat, they are low heat. So this produced in a very low heat, this produced more heat. And the way I found this out was I made a Gobo for this one. This was my very first Gobo projector and the very first attempt at printing at home, and it worked out fine. Low heat, it had no problems, right? And it's a decent fixture. I like it. But for my particular applications in the last couple months, which they were really big, and I had to shoot over long distance, and this just 10-watt LED didn't have the power, so I got the 60-watt LED, and it did have the power, but it also came with a little bit of heat. And when I made the Gobo for this one, I didn't trim it out as perfectly as I should have, or as perfectly as I do now. So when I took that Gobo out of there and put it into the Gobo holder for this one, the heat here started to warp the Gobo. Oh no, it's gonna warp it. What happened? As it turns out, it wasn't actually warping the Gobo itself. The heat generated by the 60-watt LED was just enough heat to relax the surface tension in the Gobo. Because the Gobo wasn't cut perfectly, it didn't fit perfectly into the Gobo holder. So there was some surface tension there that I couldn't really see. And when it was exposed to the heat, it relaxed that surface tension and it started to warp. Well, my solution to that, beyond perfectly trimming out the Gobo, is this right here. This is a 26 millimeter watch crystal. I got it at a local jeweler and it cost me about $6. It is a perfect drop-in fit, just like that. And then I use my custom-made retainer ring, because the stock Gobos that come in it, they are glued in place. So I picked a particular Gobo design that I will never use, or I guess I could say that I just decided I could sacrifice for this need. And when I pushed it out, there was some glue residue, which I effectively cleaned out, but there was no retaining ring. So I had to physically fabricate my own retaining ring, and there we go. Now we're all set. So the glass Gobo here, or the watch crystal, it's an organic glass, and the jeweler assured me that it would reflect a significant amount of heat. And after many events, I stand behind this watch crystal. I really enjoy it. It works really well, and my Gobos survive perfectly. Let me see. These are the same. These are the same because I have two Stellar 60s. I might do two Gobos. You know, one up on the wall and one down on the floor, or one over here and one over there. I don't know. At least I have the option. So I make multiples. Okay. In one of the videos when you saw me putting it together, I took the glass off screen. what I was doing was cleaning off the fingerprints. I have an untested theory that fingerprints on the glass will show up on the wall. Now, since I released parts 1 through 3 before this one, I have gotten some interesting feedback and some great ideas. In the official part 1, where we talked about printing using Microsoft Paint to change the location, one of the suggestions was to create a document with multiple gobos on there. That way it will print out in the same roll, and I think that that is a fantastic idea. I will definitely give that a shot. Another suggestion which I just got was that here I've already cut this one off. This one can go, but if I cut this straight across, then I can reuse this sheet. Whereas if I just try and put it in now, there's a chance for snagging within the machine. Also, there was a comment about the shiny side versus the dull side. I've printed on both sides, and I can't necessarily tell the difference between one side or the other. I concede that the dull side would adhere the ink a little bit better, but I'm using a toner style printer, so it's not really that big a deal. I can't wait to get my hands on some inkjet transparency and see where that goes. So, in conclusion, I am very happy with the Gobos. I'm excited to try the inkjet. Oh, one more thing. We didn't really talk about this. My toner printer prints one pass, whereas with an inkjet, you can, like, if you get a really good inkjet, like my Epson, you could get 1200 DPI, which is fantastic coverage. This here, the black is not black. It's a checkerboard pattern, and somebody mentioned this in one of the comments. Yes, it is a grayish black, and that's just a fault in the toner process. It's not meant for what we're doing here, and it's just something I've been dealing with. And the way I've been dealing with it is in a couple different situations, I was able to apply color to the Gobo itself. Like if you take a look at this picture here, we were able to put green in there, and that knocked out all the checkerboard pattern in the blackness, you know, and then the letters stand out really nicely. Other times, different surfaces that we were projecting onto didn't the grayish checker pattern wasn't really much of a problem. But all in all, I'm really happy with the outcome. I love the flexibility of designing the Gobos using Photoshop, and I'm really happy that I can turn them out like this. I mean, I need maybe 2 hours notice for a Gobo. Yeah, it's really great. I don't have to rely on anybody else. If there are mistakes to make, such as this Gobo here, this Gobo was a mistake. I designed the wrong one. I was really happy with this Gobo because it's such an effective and gorgeous use of space. But I got the initials wrong. What it actually was supposed to be is this is what I came up with once I caught the mistake myself. goodness it was caught before the gig, and I was able to do this and not project this one on the wall and just look like the biggest idiot in the world. So there is heat with LEDs. Don't kid yourself. There's just lower heat than we're used to. At the 10 watt, it's, you know, you can't really tell. At the 10 millimeter, you can only tell after many hours. But with the 60 watt, and you know, I know people with the Premier 120 have definitely felt the heat. That's something too. So this is DJRockinRob saying thanks for watching. I appreciate the comments, and we'll catch you guys later.